Hi, this is Mr. Simpson, and I want to spend a few moments just explaining the changes to Praising Stars that is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, first of all, why are there some changes? Well, firstly, we wanted to make it more specific and direct so that each student knew exactly what they needed to do to improve and how they could improve. So the new format and information make improving much more specific. Students will know exactly what they need to improve on. The effort is also clearer. Again, a student will know exactly what they need to do to increase their effort. So a little bit more information on that, and firstly relating to predictions. So predictions are an indication of progress in your work. At Key Stage 3, there's some new information. One part of it is a drop down menu that staff will choose and students will see whether they are keeping up, going beyond, or falling behind in a particular subject. Keeping up and going beyond are relatively self-explanatory. So keeping up means that you are on track and completing what is needed. Going beyond means that you are doing more than asked and therefore making more progress. There is an option for falling behind. I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. What this means is that students will have missed some elements of the curriculum and learning, and therefore they won't be where they need to be at that moment during Praising Stars. Now, that could be due to a number of different reasons, and obviously members of staff will explain to students and parents what that means. But it could mean that a student has missed a couple of weeks due to a holiday, or even a few lessons due to an illness. It could mean that there's been some concerns in lesson with regards to effort, but ultimately it means that a student is falling behind in some element of work within that particular subject in that particular Praising Stars. On this section, Key Stage 4 remains largely the same. I just want to take a moment just to explain that predictions are, as they've always been, they are based on what a student will achieve at results day in year 7. So, for example, if you are predicted a 6, this means that based on your current attainment and progress, a 6 is what we think you will get in year 11. So it isn't an indication of where a student is now at this moment in time. It's where we think they will be in year 11. So when a year 7 student gets a prediction, it means based on where you are now and the progress that you will make over the 5 years in school, this is what we feel as though that you will get in year 11 on results day. So a little bit more information on our effort grades, and this is where you will probably see the biggest change. And all this information is on page 20 of the student planner. So firstly, as a starting point, it's really important to mention that obviously all students in every Praising Star cycle will start as an E1 student. We want everyone to believe that they are capable of achieving the highest effort. And that's obviously if they apply themselves fully within those lessons. So students are in full control of their effort grades. They will start on an E1, and what they will do from that very first lesson in that Praising Stars will affect whether their effort grade drops or whether they stay as an E1 student for the remainder of that Praising Stars cycle. So each cycle starts afresh. So a student could achieve an E3 in Praising Stars 1, but that doesn't mean that they cannot achieve an E1 in Praising Stars 2. Everyone has that same opportunity to hit an E1 every Praising Stars. So there's some changes to effort grades and the descriptions. E1 and E2 are roughly the same as what they've always been. So E1 is that star student who goes above and beyond. And I think that's the key phrase for an E1 student. They actively seek additional learning opportunities. That could mean that they do extra work through homework. It could mean that they do extra work through enrichment. It could just mean that they do extra work in the lesson. They finish that particular piece of work, and rather than sitting and waiting for work to be given, they actively seek it. They go and find extra additional resources. They go to the teacher and say, what else can I do to be an E1 student? So above and beyond is really important. E2 is that excellent student. So they show a clear commitment to their learning. They complete all assigned tasks, and they do that in a really timely manner. They are well motivated, and they develop themselves in their learning. So they do everything that is asked of them at a really, really high level. E3 and E4 is where there are some subtle changes, but it is also very, very clear on what is required. So E3 is a hard-working student. It's as simple as that. They complete every task and they contribute positively in lessons. In recent years, I feel that students and parents have thought that an E3 is not a positive effort grade. It is still a positive effort grade. It's not going above and beyond, which is what E1 is. It's not excellent work. It's not an excellent student, an excellent effort, which is what E2 is. It's hard working. They come in and they work hard. However, E4 is the first negative effort grade. So an E4 is what you would kind of call an underperforming student, and they're capable of so much more, but they are not hardworking. That's a really, really important differentiation to make. So if a student doesn't work hard, they come in, their effort is relatively low, they might do what's asked, but they might need lots and lots of motivation. They might need lots and lots of reminders. Well, that's not hardworking, so that can't be an E3. Those students will most probably receive an E4. And it's like, I suppose, the phrase here would be a wake-up call. It's something that a student would look at and go, actually, that means I'm not hardworking. It means I'm not doing the very best that I possibly can. So a change in effort is needed if you receive an E4. An E5 student is what you would, it's not just a negative effort grade, it's actually an indication of a negative student in that lesson. So they don't embrace the learning opportunities presented to them. They often miss out based on poor choices. That could be behavioural, it could be motivational, but the E5 is a high level of concern. And that's, again, that's the phrase, the key phrase of an E5 is that there's lots of concerns. It could be due to behaviour, it could be due to consequences, it could be due to the attitudes against other students, it could be that they prevent learning from happening and that affects other students. So E5 is that high level of concern. There is no E6 in the new effort grades. So E5 is the lowest effort grade, and that's why that is a high level of concern. So again, just to highlight the kind of subtle changes between an E3 and an E4, E3 is still a hardworking student. It's still a positive effort grade. E4 is that first negative effort grade. It means that you are not doing what you need to do. And E5 is the lowest effort grade, which means you are a negative student within that learning environment and you are affecting yours and others' learning. If you have any other questions, your tutors will be able to help and support. If you are a parent listening to this presentation, please contact your student's tutor if you have any questions. There will be progress evenings where you can obviously, once you get your praising stars, you can question your teachers as to why an effort grade has been given, and they will be able to provide that detail that I was talking about at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.